We're here with Nigel Kendall, the deputy editor of Knowledge magazine at the Times, to talk about 2007, talk about 2008, and what he wants for Christmas. So what do you think your favourite product for 2007 is?
I don't know if I have a favourite product for 2007, really. It's been a very odd year because I've been watching one of my areas of interest is gaming particularly. So I've been watching the way that the consoles have been desperately trying to catch up with each other. You've got this low-end console that's not capable of high-definition pictures, which is streaming away, making money on every single unit sold. And then the other two are just losing cash hand over fist in the desperate race to try and catch up, to the point where now they're starting to rethink themselves and relaunch themselves for Christmas and for 2008, I think.
So what do you think is going to be big in 2008?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Apple are up to in January, because there's all sorts of rumours flying around about that, and you probably know all about them as well as I do, because there's a massive gap in the Apple lineup at the moment, which is a small laptop, which doesn't cripple your shoulder when you're carrying it through Heathrow. So I'd be very surprised if they didn't build on the technology built into the iPhone and the video iPod, whatever it's called.
Do you think there'll be lots of touchscreen?
It wouldn't surprise me if that was an option, or if they did something that incorporated a very, very small keyboard that could be detached if you wanted to. Sort of Apple version of tablet, if you like. We all know how successful that's been. Otherwise, in 2008, I'm looking at video, really, at the high end and the low end, because the two consoles are of more significance than just to gamers and game people, because they're the bullock into the homes for high-definition video, if you like.
Right,
so whoever wins the console battle is likely to win the HD next-generation DVD format. But also, the PlayStation 3 now properly plays DivX or XVID files. You're facing the same thing that happened to the music industry happening to the film industry properly now, because it's taken the digital files out of computing and brought them straight into the lounge. And so we'll see a lot more attention being paid to illegal downloads and maybe even legitimate services based on DivX technology for download for rent or for easy disposal, because one of the things that MP3 taught us was that people don't necessarily want the best quality. They're happy to make compromises as long as it's quick and convenient.
Cool. So you don't think really that the Blu-ray or HD question is going to be an issue, because we'll all go to download?
Well, I think it's at both ends of the market. That's what's interesting about it. I think that, as with MP3s, there's people who'll be perfectly happy to take files that sound inferior to CDs and listen to them and never buy the music. So if you're, for instance, if you're addicted to American soap opera and it doesn't show in the UK till a year on, then those downloads are already out there if you know where to look. And unless there's a way of legitimizing that, and unless the companies who own copyright act fast, they're going to end up facing exactly the same problems the record industry had 5-6 years ago. Whereas at the high end, you know, the difference between Blu-ray and HD is a more difficult sell than the difference between DVD and VHS was, because DVD was obviously a massive leap over VHS. You could go to the next chapter at the touch of a button. You had all this storage space. It didn't have crackles. It didn't wrap itself around the heads of your player. So, but this is much more difficult to sell because it essentially looks the same, and it's
just slightly better.
Just slightly better, yeah.
Well, thanks for popping by, Nigel.
Well, thanks for having me. It's not often I get to go to a pub at 11 o'clock in the morning. Cheers.
Happy Christmas. We hate the January sales. Why do we hate January sales? Because it's that admission that the gadget that you'd bought before Christmas is now half price. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to know that the money they've given the manufacturer is then cheaper. You could have saved your money. Why don't some of us have Christmas at the end of January? I think that would be a lot better. Just don't tell the retailers or the manufacturers that that's what we're doing. And then we could get like everything in the January sale, and it'd be great, wouldn't it? That's why we hate January sale. And even if you can get a bargain, you're there struggling, beating people around the head in the queues and a scramble to get to like the best bargains possible. It's just a pain. It's just, nobody wants it. It's not civilized. We don't like it. It's not big. It's not clever. And that's why we hate January sales. So we've seen what's happening the next year. It's going to be really exciting. Lots of gadgets coming out, lots of excitement, lots of joy, lots of happiness. And guess what? We're going to be bringing it to you all first on Megawhat TV. It's going to be brilliant. Well, that's it for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. Why don't you tune in next week, where we've got more tips, tricks, news, reviews, opinions, and much more from the wonderful world of gadgets. Happy New Year, and drive safe.